It was close to midnight when I left the town. Not late enough for the roads to feel abandoned, but late enough that everything felt slightly off. The kind of quiet that doesn't feel peaceful, just empty. I had been visiting a friend, and the drive back home usually took about 40 minutes. Most of it was a straight highway cutting through miles of nothing. Trees, fields, occasional exits that led to places I'd never been. I had driven this road dozens of times before, so I wasn't paying much attention when I merged onto the highway. The radio was on low volume, some late-night talk show. I wasn't really listening. About 10 minutes into the drive, I checked my rearview mirror. Just a habit. That's when I noticed the headlights. They were far back. A single car keeping its distance. Nothing strange about that. This was a highway, after all. Cars appear, cars disappear. I didn't think about it again until another 5 minutes passed. The road curved slightly, then straightened out again. I glanced in the mirror and the headlights were still there. Same distance, same position. I remember thinking it was odd, but not alarming. Maybe the driver was cruising at the same speed as me. It happens. I adjusted my speed slightly, slowing down by a few miles per hour. I wanted the car behind me to either pass or fall back. It didn't. The headlights stayed exactly where they were. That was when I turned the radio off. The silence in the car felt louder than the noise ever did. I rolled my shoulders, trying to shake the tension creeping in, and focused on the road ahead. 10 more minutes passed. I took the next exit without planning to. It led to a smaller road that cut through a stretch of woods. No gas stations, no houses, just a 2-lane road with no divider. As I turned onto it, I glanced at the mirror again. The headlights followed me. That was the first moment my stomach dropped. People don't usually take that exit unless they're heading somewhere specific. There was nothing out there. No shortcuts. No businesses. Just darkness. I told myself it was coincidence. I drove for another mile, then slowed down again. This time I slowed down a lot. I wanted to see what the car would do. The headlights slowed down too. Not gradually, instantly. Like they were attached to me. My hands tightened around the steering wheel. I checked the mirrors again, hoping I'd see the car swerve or turn around, anything that would make this make sense. But the road behind me stayed empty except for those headlights. Bright, steady, silent. I sped up. The headlights sped up. Not aggressively, not rushing, just matching me. I could feel my heartbeat in my ears now. My mouth felt dry. I kept telling myself I was overreacting. Maybe it was someone heading the same way. Maybe they lived out here. Maybe... The headlights flickered once. Just once. And then they were closer. Not tailgating, but closer than before. I could make out the shape of the car now, or at least I thought I could. The darkness kept swallowing the details, but something about it felt wrong. The headlights were too high, or maybe too far apart. I couldn't tell. After what felt like forever, I saw a gas station sign ahead. The relief hit me immediately. Light, people, cameras. I pulled into the parking lot without hesitation. The gas station was open, but barely. One car at a pump. The clerk inside behind thick glass. Bright fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. I pulled up near the entrance and parked. Then I waited. The headlights slowed as they reached the entrance. They stopped at the edge of the lot. They didn't pull in. They just stayed there, pointing directly at me. I sat frozen in my seat, staring back through my windshield. I couldn't see the driver. The glare from the headlights made it impossible. A few seconds passed, then a minute. Cars came and went on the road behind them, but the headlights never moved. I considered getting out of the car, but something told me not to. Every instinct I had screamed to stay inside, doors locked. Finally, the headlights turned off. Not dimmed, not lowered. Off. The car itself was still there. I could see the outline now, barely lit by the gas station lights. It was an older model, dark, no visible damage, no movement. I don't know how long I waited. It could have been 30 seconds or 5 minutes. Time felt stretched thin. Then the engine started. The car turned around slowly and drove back toward the road. I didn't breathe until it disappeared into the darkness. I waited another full minute before getting out of my car. I didn't even buy gas. I just stood there, pretending to check my phone, watching the road. When I was sure it wasn't coming back, I got back in my car and left. I didn't take the highway again. I stuck to side roads, even though it added almost 20 minutes to my drive. For a while, everything felt normal again. The tension slowly faded. My breathing evened out. I started feeling stupid for panicking. That feeling didn't last. About 10 minutes later, I checked my rearview mirror. The headlights were back. Same distance, same position. I actually laughed at first, a short, sharp laugh that came out more like a breath. I told myself it had to be a different car. There was no way it was the same one. But as I turned at the next intersection, the headlights turned too. I took another turn. They followed. My heart sank so hard it felt physical. I stopped testing it after that. I didn't slow down. I didn't speed up. I just drove. Mile after mile. The road signs ticked by. 10 miles. 15. The headlights never left. At one point, I pulled up behind a slow-moving truck, hoping the car behind me would pass. It didn't. It stayed behind me, even when there was room to go around. I tried calling someone, but my hands were shaking too badly to hold the phone steady. I dropped it on the passenger seat and didn't try again. I just kept driving. My house came into view eventually. The familiar street felt unreal, like a memory instead of a place. I didn't pull into my driveway. I drove past it. I didn't want whoever was behind me to know where I lived. I drove around the block instead, heart pounding, eyes locked on the mirror. The headlights followed. When I passed my house again, I didn't slow down. I kept going, circling the neighborhood. On the third loop, the headlights disappeared. They didn't turn off. They didn't turn away. They were just gone. I pulled over and sat there, breathing hard, scanning every street, every shadow. Nothing. Eventually, I drove home and went inside. I locked every door, every window. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I checked my car. There were no scratches, no damage, just one thing. On the back bumper, just beneath the trunk, there was a thin layer of dust, and running through it, perfectly straight, was a single clean line, like something had been standing there, close enough to touch. I wiped it away. I haven't driven at night since. And sometimes when I check my mirrors during the day, I still expect to see those headlights, right where they were before. I didn't tell anyone about what happened that night, not my friends, not my family. Saying it out loud made it feel unreal, like a bad story instead of something that actually happened to me. For a few days, everything felt normal again. I drove during the day. I avoided highways at night. I checked my mirrors more often than I needed to, but I never saw those headlights again. I started to convince myself it had been a coincidence. A string of coincidences, maybe, but nothing more. That illusion broke a week later. I was driving home from work just after sunset, not even fully dark yet. Traffic was light, but not empty. The sky still had color in it. I checked my rearview mirror at a red light. There were no headlights. I relaxed a little. The light turned green, and I drove on. About 2 miles later, the road narrowed and traffic thinned out. That's when I noticed them. Headlights, far back, almost too far to be sure. My chest tightened immediately. I told myself it wasn't the same situation. This was early evening. People were still out. I wasn't alone on the road. Still, I slowed down slightly. The headlights slowed too. I changed lanes. They changed lanes. That familiar cold feeling crawled up my spine. I focused on the road ahead, refusing to look back again. I didn't want to confirm what I already suspected. I didn't want that fear to fully settle in. After a few minutes, another car merged onto the road between us. I finally looked back. The headlights were still there. The other car had passed them. That didn't make sense. There was room, plenty of it. They could have followed behind that car instead of staying locked behind me. I turned onto a busier street on purpose, letting traffic surround me. I waited at intersections longer than necessary. I made random turns. Every single one of them was followed. Eventually, I pulled into a grocery store parking lot. It was crowded, people walking in and out, cars constantly moving. I parked near the entrance and sat there, hands resting on the steering wheel, breathing shallowly. A few seconds later, the car pulled into the lot. It parked 3 spaces away from me. This was the closest it had ever been. I stared straight ahead, pretending not to notice. My reflection in the windshield looked pale. My jaw was clenched so tight it hurt. The engine of the other car stayed on. I listened carefully. No doors open, no movement. Just the low hum